Hey friends, how are you? It's Sunday. Yeah, that's what's happening. Sunday, March 15th. I'm here at the studio, hanging out in Common Bond. I'm going to teach you an hour of a Hatha Style Yoga Asana class where we do some postures and do some things. I'll probably take it a little slower today and also give a little more options for adaptive entries and things like that. So do apologize about this microphone right here in front of my face. I might be able to adjust that so slightly so that you can see a little bit better. But we're looking forward to joining you online via YouTube and our Patreon channel. Now, all you got to do is go to youtube.commonbondyoga.com and that'll take you directly over to our YouTube page. Right now, during the pandemic, everything up on our YouTube channel will be available publicly for free, all of our classes. And then we'll be doing some bonus content that we'll be pushing out via our Patreon platform, including interviews, Q&As. I just recorded an awesome Yoga Nidra meditation with Chris that we're looking forward to sharing as well. I've got some audio equipment on the way. We don't know how long this will last, but we know that the most important thing you can do, unfortunately, is to keep your physical social distance from people. That being said, we want to keep connected. And our YouTube, our Patreon, our Instagram, they're all ways to stay connected with your community out there, particularly those of you that do come to the studio. So make sure you follow us on Instagram at Common Bond Yoga. Follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/commonbond. And then Facebook, it's Common Bond Yoga. And YouTube, it's Common Bond Yoga. If you have a smart TV and you can go to YouTube and look up Common Bond Yoga, you'll be able to pull up your channel, our channel, and play any of these videos that we have publicly available on your television so you can just practice at home. Hopefully one just like this. I'm not monitoring the comments during these videos, so feel free to leave any comments if you like, but I'm not able to respond to them. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. We'll start at standing today. So 2 feet flat at the top of the mat. You can have one block nearby if it's handy. I don't tend to teach with very much of them. Pressing down firmly into your feet. Relax your shoulders, open your palms. Allow the crown of the head to grow tall and the tail to press down toward your heels. You might have the toes point in or out in a way that is most natural and comfortable for you. And let's take a few deep breaths without too much effort from the low belly. A couple more just like that. One more step. Inhaling your arms up over your head, reach nice and tall. Lengthen up, try to touch the ceiling, soften the knees, and then exhale all the way down to the floor. When you get down there, relax your head, yes and no. And shake it right and left. Like I said, I'm fairly relaxed from Yoga Nidra session today, so I'm moving a little bit slow. Inhale, lift up about halfway, lengthen the spine. It's a slight tuck of the tail and a lengthening through the back of the neck, looking maybe down or slightly in front of you. Take that big inhale, and then bend your knees to re-deepen your fold. 2 more times, inhale, halfway lift. Bend the knees to deepen the fold. 1 more time, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to deepen the fold. And then tuck the tail, round through the spine, tuck the chin, let the arms dangle. When you get back to the top, float the shoulders up and back, flip the palms, reach for the sky, and then bring the hands back to heart center. Pressing firmly down, inhale your arms up over your head. Bring the palms together, or option to grab a hold of 2 elbows. Press firmly into the feet and the elbow tips, and then bend over to that right side of the room, whatever side of that room you're in happens to be. Pressing up through the wrists, down through the heels, a little slack to the knees, enough to engage the inner thighs and the mat underneath you. Take a big inhale here, an even bigger exhale. Inhale back up to the top. Pause right here, take an exhale breath. Inhale to lengthen up, and then exhale over to the left side of the room. We try to keep the heart a little forward and the tail a little down, ankles squeezing toward each other to lift up out of the waist. Big stretch through the fingertips. Exhale, squeeze the palm. On your next inhale, come back up to the top. Split the arms to cactus arms. I like to keep elbows up, shoulder height if that's comfortable. Wrists back in line with the ears if that's available. And then look at the sky with the eyebrows. Begin to press the hips slightly forward. Light engagement in the glutes as you lean toward the wall behind you, up through the chest. Relax the eyes, the jaw. Continue to breathe. And then we'll inhale back up, nice and tall, soften the knees, exhale to forward fold. While you're down there, you can grab your big toes with your middle and index finger or step on your palms, lengthen up about half-ish way, bend the elbows out, and relax the head down. Relax is more like just don't squeeze the face, but press into the palms with the feet or the fingertips with the feet and be upside down for a little bit here, a few breaths. When you're ready, go ahead and release those hands. Inhale to a halfway lifted position. Pause right here. Take an exhale breath. Inhale again. And then bend the knees. Plant the hands. Step the right foot back. Release the top of the foot and the knee to the floor. Arms and heart up overhead. Low lunge is always a lovely stretch on the front of that right hip, but don't need to go to your deepest expression here. You can back the hips up, squeeze the right hip up and forward, and then press through the top of that right foot. If it starts to cramp up, you might find it more comfortable to tuck the toes here. Depends on how your ankle is attached to your body. Big inhale. Big exhale. Up through the crown of the head and the back of the neck, and then down through the tail toward the floor. Big inhale. And then exhale, hands come down to the mat. Do push back to downward facing dog. Downward dog, I like to soften the knees. This is very much not my first downward dog today, but deep bend of the knees. Relax the head and the neck and press into the index finger and the thumb, lengthening the spine. If you're able, lift the hip up a little more, but keep pressing through those big toes to breathe out here. We'll roll all the way forward to the plank posture. Hands will likely need to walk forward or toes depending on how it fits your body. I recommend setting the knees down right away and finding as much length through the back of the neck. Toes do pop up. For me, exhale, bend the elbows to lower. Release the feet. Inhale for a backward bend. Mild engagement here in the low back, low belly, and the glutes. And then back to the mat. Using the hands and the knees as a modified push-up. Go ahead and send the toes back, or hips back for downward facing dog round 2. Continue to cultivate an awareness of that breath. It's a slight snoring sensation on the inhale, slight ha sound on the exhale. And then step that right foot up to the front of the mat, please. Release the knee. That's the left one. Arms and heart come up overhead. Your belly might stick out of your shirt like me. That's good. Means you're doing it right. Pull that left hip forward, right hip back. Big inhale, big exhale. Inhale to lengthen up, please, and then exhale. Hands come down to the mat. Step to the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees. Head relaxes. Ragdoll or reverse swan dive to the sky. Hands to heart center. We'll take round two a little bit more dynamic, friends. So sweep arms up wide and high. Lengthen up, reach for the ceiling nice and tall. Exhale, bend to the right. Inhale up to center. And then exhale, bend to the left. Inhale up to center. Exhale over to the right hand side. Press through 2 feet. Back up to center. Exhale over to the left hand side. One more time each direction. Up through the fingertips. Exhale over. Up through the fingertips. Down through the feet. Exhale over. Back up to the ceiling nice and tall. Split the arms. Cactus arms. You can come back to the ceiling. And then cactus arms. One more. Back to the sky, nice and tall. Exhale, dive forward. We'll skip the bind this time. Inhale, halfway lift. Go ahead and step your right foot back once again. Keep those right toes tucked. And then lift the hips up to neutral. Arms can float up overhead for high lunge. Pulling again, right hip forward, pressing through the big toe, but also the space underneath my middle toe. Lifting and activating your front feet as if you were squeezing your two thighs toward each other. Up through the crown of the head, down through the tail. Inhale again, and then hands come down to the mat. We'll push directly back to down dog, and then inhale forward to plank. Option to bring the knees down, modify, backward bend, and then back to downward dog. I've been taking wider and shorter down dogs these days. I find that I like it a lot more. If I'm lucky, my heels get closer to the earth, which is not the goal, as you know. Now, on this next transition, come back down to the knees. Modified version, getting to high lunge, would be to step the right foot up, fix the sweater, and then come up to high lunge, other side. Arms and heart forward, pull that left hip forward, relax the back of the neck and the jaw. Inhale up through the fingers. Exhale to hold. Inhale here. And then hands come down to the front. Inhale, step the left foot up, halfway lift. Exhale, deepen the fold. Reverse swan dive. Arms come up. Exhale. Hands to heart center. Sweatshirt comes off after the warm-up. Round two. Sorry, we already did 2 rounds. Sun B's. Sweep those arms up wide and high. Told you, Yoga Nidra. I'm so very relaxed. I forgot my own class. So active through the feet here, lifting and spreading the toes, but pressing down through those big toe mounds. Knees can be out wider, in wider. Feel everything through the inner thighs and softening a little bit through the outer hips. Tail comes under just a tiny bit more. Big inhale, and then exhale to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, and then we'll step the right foot back. That's definitely the royal we. Arms up overhead today. I am the only one in this room, in case you didn't know. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, bend into the left knee. You had to get to 15 minutes in the video to find out that secret though. So make sure you stick around until the end. I'll tell you the story. Lengthen up through the fingertips. Exhale, hold. Inhale, and then hands come down to the mat. At that point, you push back to down dog, please. And then it's an inhale, rebound to plank. Now remember, you can get to plank and be like, you know what? I want to go the other way. Bend your knees, go backward, hang out there. Absolutely no expectation that the vinyasa fits your body today or any day for that matter. We move through that flow as an opportunity to feel good. I did say this is a hatha class and I meant it. Let's come back to the front of the mat. Drop the hips and find chair pose again. Looking for a little more room for stillness. A little more letting go. Inhale. And then it's exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Left foot moves this time, steps back. Train tracks for the feet. heart forward, left hip forward, bend into the right knee, but put the crown of the head straight up to the sky. Big inhale. And then exhale, hands to the mat. Do push back to down dog. Inhale energy forward, and maybe you decide this round feels good. Let's bend the elbows lower down. Upward dog. Downward dog. Relax the head and the neck. Few breaths here. And if you're lucky like me, you get to put your bare belly on your thighs because your shirt is somewhere around your rib cage. Look forward, move forward, chair pose. Stand tall, hands to heart center. Round 2, inhale. Chair pose. Push the feet away from each other, spread the toes out wide, big inhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Inhale. Forward fold. Half lift. Right foot moves back, set it down, warrior 1. Arms up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands to the mat, push back to down dog. Take it if you want it. Option to stay in down dog. Option to come to tabletop and take some cow and cat. From tabletop or downward dog, front of the mat. Chair pose. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step the left foot back, arms up overhead. So in that moment I said inhale, and then I did the thing where I wait for the students in the room to inhale. There aren't anybody in here to inhale for me to listen. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat, push back. And that's what makes this fun. Don't do that if there are people nearby. Couple more breaths here. Look forward. On the exhale, move forward. Chair pose. And maybe it's high to the toes. If you're up on your toes, you have to walk around your living room like this. It's more fun. Okay, woo! Relax, let it go. Eagle Garudasana, arms up. Let's take the right one under the left one, and then sit down. So not all the way down, just, downish. Right foot can come up and over and squeeze. Pull the elbows down and in, lift the chest. And then we'll switch. Arms up and over. Left under right. Exhale, sit down and back. Left leg comes up and over the right leg. Fun story. I just had my right leg on top of my left leg, and I was like, man, my right hip's really open. And then I realized it was my left hip, because I'm doing the other one. Arms up overhead. Let it go. All right, if you're at home, pet your cat, drink some water, and see if anybody's watching us. Hey, there's people. Cool. 3 of you. Nobody in the chat though. Cool. Okay. All right, let's bounce on 1 foot. 1 foot, not 2. 1. Okay. Shift your weight over to your left foot. Bring your right thigh up to parallelish. So, option to hold here underneath the thigh with the fingers or the hands just for a moment. We're going to work to lift this left hip and lower the right hip some amount, but balance should be a verb. Thank you, Alexis, for that. And then pull this right knee out to the side, and without using any hand strength, place the foot somewhere on the inner thigh. Push into it. Maybe it pushes into the calf muscle. And then you find that place where you can scooch up the hips and find some balance with the breath. Sometimes that doesn't last very long. Go ahead and bring this left thigh, right thigh, back up front, and then set it back down as slowly as you can. Shake out the legs, especially that left one. Shift your weight over into your right one. Lift the left thigh up to parallel. Flex the toes. Draw the belly slightly in, but tail slightly down. Crown of the head up. We're looking for engagement through this inner line here. You can lift and spread the toes to make that a little easier. And then we'll just slowly turn that foot out and press in to the thigh somewhere. Option to scoot the hips a little forward, lengthen the back of the neck. If that makes you fall out of the posture that direction, great. Hop right back in. Pull the leg back up front. And then set it down as easily as you can. Okay, so we're going to shift over to the other side again. Weight comes into the left leg, right thigh comes up to parallelish. Option to hold underneath with 10 fingers. If you haven't figured it out, my left hip is the weaker of the two. They're equally imbalanced though, so I can't seem to make this one stronger for some reason. Flex the left toes. Focus on one thing. Draw the belly up and in. And bring that heel forward. Now if you're at home and you're thinking dishes, cats, kids, what am I going to do for dinner, food, work? Cool. The thinking mind has its place. Right now is not that time. Try to block it out. And then bend the knee. Set the foot back down. Woo. Shake out that one. Switch sides. Okay, we'll pull this one up to parallelish. Tilt the top of the hips backward. Draw the belly in. If you got a little extra there, awesome. Use it to help press in a little bit more. Flex the toes. And then hold the leg. And then if you like, extend the heel forward. And then bend the knee. Set the foot back down. Pick it up. Adaptive entry to our warrior two. Standing bow pulling pose. It's similar to warrior one, where you step your right foot back ever so slightly. Take that right palm and open it up out to the side. Left hand comes up here toward the ear. It could be up by the by the ear, and then pull your thumb, that one backward, and those fingers upward, and push into the left foot. We're going to hover on that right big toe long enough to squeeze that foot into the floor and line up that whole right leg. And then once you've done so, you can hover that foot. A little bounce to the left knee is fine. In fact, it's great. You're going to be using the foot to balance more effectively over time. You might connect the hand and the foot here. If you have a hold of the two, lift up through the chest and breathe. With control, send it back down. You'll switch sides. Left foot, slightly back, hips still point more or less forward. Left hand and palm comes out and open. Roll that shoulder back and down. Reach the right hand up, maybe bicep to ear. Shift your weight into your right foot. Hover on those left big toes. Squeeze that inner thigh. All the way from the sole of the foot. You might even get a little bit of a cramp here. Hovering. Bounce to the right knee. Spread those toes out wide too. Find one point of focus and bend the knee. Connect the hand to the foot. Heart forward, kick up. And then change. Kick to come out, shake the whole thing out. We'll do one more set, each side. Right hand palm out. Now you can start with this adaptive entry like so, or you can just simply pick up the foot and connect the hand to the foot. But you want to keep that hip, glute, knee, ankle, all more or less in one line. So you're likely pulling the knee slightly down and kicking the foot straight back behind you. If it tips out to that side, that's fine. Just try to line it back up, lift up more out of the sternum, and then kick a little further. And then change to come back out. Switch sides. Shift the weight over into the right foot. Connect the left hand and left foot, or balance on the left big toe. Up through the chest, up through the fingers, kick back through the hand. Woo. Through the knee, through the hip. With control. Woo. Okay, shake that out. Back to Samasthiti, equal standing, top of the mat. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Move back to plank pose. And as you please, if you please, lower down. Back at downward dog, take a few deep breaths. Take your right foot. You can come through tabletop and step it up to the front of the mat. Spin the left heel out, slight angle, windmill to warrior two. Don't think this back foot should be parallel to the short edge of the mat. I think it should be turned slightly in toward the front and this left hip slightly down to begin with. You can pull it more open later, but active through this right knee, bend deeply into it, out through the wrists. Big inhale. Big exhale. Flip your right palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Take this exhale here. Inhale back to the warrior two. Right elbow will come to thigh or hip crease, push away from it, lift up out of the left hand. Gaze can be directly out, or you might begin to turn the chin, not too far though. Press down, lift up out of the waist. Lift and spread the toes. Inhale back to the warrior two. You'll feel it. Straighten that right leg. Pick up the toes. Turn the other way. Likely need to wiggle that left foot out to the left quite a bit and close that right hip. Bend deeply into the knee and then consider opening it a little bit more. Out through the wrists again, through the fingers. Flip the left palm. Inhale to warrior two. Left elbow down, right hand to sky. Inhale to warrior two. Straighten the left leg, bring 10 toes in, hands to hips. Option to adjust a little further, wider apart. You want to end up with those feet at least parallelish, quite possibly pointing in. Again, it depends on how your hips and knees attach to each other, just not wide out. Inhale, lift the heart, soften the knees. Exhale to forward fold. Once you're down there, I recommend a shift side to side, right to left. Relaxing the back of the neck and the head. Option to reach out and grab the outside edge of an ankle. Pull, lengthen the back of the neck, head toward the floor. Not underneath you, toward the floor right in front of you. Release. Inhale, halfway lift. Pause here, hold. Inhale to standing. Step to the front of the mat. Check it out. Equal standing. Inhale, arms up overhead. Soften the knees, hinge forward. Plant the hands, move back to downward dog. Right foot steps up, warrior two. Three deep breaths. One more. Hold here. And then move into an extended side angle or a triangle pose. Hand can reach down, hand can reach up. Lift and lengthen out of the waist. Find some breath. Couple more. Back up, warrior two. Straighten the leg, swap the feet. Bend the knee, get right into it, don't waste time. Two more full breaths. Inhale, reverse. No, hold. And extended side angle or triangle pose. Inhale up, straighten the left leg, turn the toes in. Hands to hips, this time heels in, toes out. And then bend your knees, pick up your toes, spread them out wide and come down to a squat, goddess pose. So active through the feet, active through the toes. You can release the hands here, etc. Just trying to decide what story I would tell you all today. Flip the palms, draw the elbows in, tail under. Relax the back of the neck. I still haven't decided. Sit down a little more. Two more. One more. Inhale, stand up tall. Step to the front. Find some stillness. Shift your weight to your left foot. Bring the right foot up for tree pose. This time, if you want to use your hands to get it there, go ahead. Switch sides. And then set that foot down. Okay. So go ahead and take those toes out. About mat distance, heels out, about mat distance. Bend your knees and come to a Malasana squat. This block can come in handy here to sit on. You might need more than one block. Press out through the elbows if they happen to fit conveniently in between your knees. If not, find a position, maybe hands to heart center. You can even take a half squat here, maybe a little bit more upright, closer to your goddess pose. We'll place the hands on the floor and then play with crow. As it is our transition posture here, so opportunity to spread the fingers out nice and wide, line up the toes with about the backs of the wrists, maybe 4 to 8 inches away, and then high to the toes here where you can stick those knees up on the backs of the arms. Now I'm very convenient in that this happens to be a posture where my anatomy works in a very convenient way to float myself up into crow. It wasn't always that way, but and this is not your version of a hand balance, you might pick some other upside down kind of opportunity here. Ooh. And then make your way down onto your bellies. Not recommended to touch the face, as the hands are up here. Make sure they're above the head and turn your head one way. Or you can bring your arms down by your side. Take a break. I'm going to adjust some audio-visual technology here. Hopefully you're breathing deep, relaxing. Wow, we're up to 4 people now. Hey guys. Cool. Let's work into cobra next. So hands come out here, wide apart. Maybe even wider still as you work to hug the elbows in. It's okay if the hands are a little further forward at first. That's a great place to start. Press into the knees, press into the pubic bone, and lift the heart just a little. Now, option to sneak those hands in a little bit more or slide them backward a little bit more. Keep the neck long though, and imagine that you're lifting up from the front of the belly all the way up through the eyebrows. And then lower all the way back down. Turn your head to the right. Release your arms. On the second set, we'll do it again. Hands right here, long through the legs, active through the toes. Exhale deeply, inhale, lift. Maybe you come up a little bit higher without craning the neck. Keep the head in line with the shoulders, elbows hug in a tiny bit more. Press to the tops of the feet and the knees. You can use this arm strength to help peel a little bit forward. Use some glute strength, light belly engagement. All the way back down. Woo. I'm definitely not one of those people that breathlessly does perfect postures on YouTube. Shout out to all the ones that are. This is hard. Okay, let's give it a locust pose. Chin forward. Hands can be palms face down. Option to go interlaced fingers, but keep those palms spread slightly apart. We'll keep the legs nice and long, lift up through the chest, press down through the hands, and maybe hover the toes. And then lower all the way back down. Head will come to the right this time. Chin forward. We'll do a, what's next? Full locust. Arms out to the side, palms pressed down. Come up onto 10 fingers though, and elbows can be in line with the wrists from the side. Shoulders roll back away from the ears. Press into the fingertips, lift the chest. Press into the pubic bone, lift the toes. And then if you're still feeling like you got more, keep your breath going. Inhale. Exhale. And lift the hands up as well. Hands might float to the level of the head. Palms might begin to turn open, thumbs toward the sky, crown of the head up, tail up, toes up, press down, lift up, squeeze. And then lower all the way back down. Head will turn to the left this time. Arms come down. Chin forward. This time we'll do full locust again. You can start in that position, or you can start with the hands all the way out. I like to do this slightly bent elbow, squeeze the legs, exhale, lift everything up. And then keep going. Inhale. Lower down. Head to the right, left ear comes down. Dhanurasana bow pose. Option to bend the knees and connect the hand to the foot. Ankle, toes, inside, outside, or option to come up in a different backward bend one maybe that we've already done. When you've got your preferred position for the moment, and it can change, exhale deeply, inhale, lift. And then lower down, head to the right, left ear down. We'll do a second side. Chin forward, bend the knees. Whew. Exhale deeply, lift from the belly button. Out the back through the toes, up the front through the sternum. And it's not about getting a crane or a crank in the low back. It's about squeezing thighs, press the knees back, softening the gaze, lengthen the back of the neck, pull the heart forward by resisting with the toes. Continue to breathe. And release. Relax all the way down, head to the left, arms relaxed. When you're ready, use your hands and your knees to push up. Opportunity to find the child's pose. Child's pose doesn't fit all bodies. Even if we say knees wide apart, big toes to touch, there still might not be room for you to flex here at the hips, or your ankles might be very uncomfortable, or your knees might not like it. So, option to grab a block, place it underneath your forehead. You could stack your hands if you want, but then your forehead will be touching your hands. We're going to do one set of our camel Ustrasana boat Navasana, and then we'll move from there. So standing up on the knees, having the knees about hip-ish distance apart. Tops of the feet can be down, toes can be tucked. Either way, you want to tilt the top of the pelvis backward so it works straight up out of the waist. We're not about pressing the hips all the way forward. It's a light, medium engagement through the glutes. And then press the sternum up toward the wall in front. Lengthen the back of the neck out through the ears. And begin to lean back a little further. Press to the knees, press to the feet. A few deep breaths. On your inhale, come back up to the top. Pause here for a neutral exhale. Easiest way to get down is to side saddle, using your hands to lower. Find that position on the sacrum, or not the sacrum, on the sits bones. Press down. You might feel a little sacrum. If this is painful on the sacrum, please stop. Lift up through the waist. Draw the heart forward. Roll the shoulders back. Boat pose Navasana, opportunity to lift up through the heels. When the hips start to shake, that means we're working. Squeeze in more, maybe lift up more. And then we'll slowly place the hands down, feet down, lower down. Not so slow that time. Woo! It's like my third yoga class today. I don't normally do that much, by the way. If you're thinking I do yoga all day, I don't. Just today. And then gently using your elbows to push back up to a seat. Let's go for Dandasana staff pose. Pulling the femur bone back ever so slightly. I like a little tenderness to the knees here. Place the palms down if it's convenient. Knuckles can be down if that's more appropriate. Roll the shoulders back. Press out through the heels, up through the crown of the head, long through the spine. You have a half forward fold, just like so. If you feel like you want more of a hamstring stretch, try squeezing your inner thighs a little bit more, pulling the toes back toward the face. That might relieve your desire to go any further. If not, we can take Paschimottanasana. Hands can be up overhead, bring the belly forward toward the thighs, and then the hands down to wherever they connect. Could be the ankles, the shins, maybe it's the outside edges of the feet or the big toes. No particular position is correct. Find the one that feels long through the body, through the spine, and begin to bring the belly forward. When the belly and the thighs are comfortable, even with the knees deeply bent, can be supported here with a blanket or pillow or blocks. You can then begin to allow the head to round forward. Without squeezing too much with the biceps, see if you can relax a little deeper into the pose. Release. Come on, back up. We'll hug the right knee up into the chest, sitting up nice and tall. Press down into that right sits bone. This foot doesn't need to be close in by the thigh. In fact, it can be a little further away. You can't see that because the blocks and camera are in the way. You can take the left elbow, release it to the right side. Right hand behind you, press into the fingers. Roll the right shoulder back. Find that breath from the low belly all the way up through the crown of the head. Come back into center. Pick up your right foot, place it in your left hand, and draw it across your body. You might hold it with two hands and rock it side to side. Try to keep the toes and the knee in line here. So when I was a kid, I kept asking my parents, when are we going to get my dog? When are we going to get my dog? When are we going to get my dog? And eventually we got my dog. Her name was Lucy. She was a black lab. She lived to be 16, which means that I was in college when she passed over the Rainbow Bridge to the other side. Pull that knee up into the chest. And then release. Whew. We'll switch sides. And pretty much until recently, it was the only dog I ever had. We also had a cat. Squeeze the knee into the chest, sit up nice and tall. Press into that foot. Maybe switch to right elbow pit. Left hand comes behind you, press down. Left sits bone, press down. Crown of the head, press up. That cat's name was Chigger, as in the pest. I think that's a pest. Anyway, that's what I was told. And she didn't like people at all. Come back into center. Pick up that left foot, draw it across the body, squeeze the knee. shake it side to side, right to left, left to right. Flex the toes toward the knee. I don't know why I said squeeze the knee. That's not what we're going for. Lift up a little higher. And then recently, I got some cats. I guess it's about 3 years now. Yeah, they're about 3. That's wild. Well, I guess they just will have turned 2. 0 to 1, 1 to 2. They're in their 3rd year. And then release that leg down. Okay, we'll take wide-legged forward fold. What are my cats' names? I'm glad you asked. We have 2 cats. They're cousins, so they have the same dad. Different moms. Lift up tall, or step siblings, I guess. Lift up through the chest, step cousins. And then flex those toes back. Maybe you keep folding, maybe you stop here, maybe you drag yourself toward the floor. And one's called Harvey Milk, because he's a cat. He likes milk. We don't give him milk, actual milk. Don't come after me. And then the other one is called Misadventure, because she's kind of a adventurous and loud cat. Exhale deeply, and then come all the way back up. Bring those soles of the feet together right in front of you. Butterfly pose. And I didn't realize I was a cat person. My cat growing up, we just totally picked on her. She had 2 boys for siblings, and we put her in the laundry basket and use our little G.I. Joes and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to guard her in prison, and the dog, of course, would chase her a little bit too, and so she didn't live a very happy life, except when the kids went at school or after we went off to college. We didn't pick on her too much, but she only liked my mom. She's the only person she liked. And then I got cats, and they loved me, and I had no idea. The cats were so great. So, yeah, I guess I don't have a point to the story, guys. The point of the story is cats are great. If you listened this far in the class, or you're replaying this and you shoot me an email, hello@commonbondyoga.com, with the subject line cats or anything like that, remotely resembling cats, I will send you pictures of my cats. When you are ready, go ahead and take your way all the way down onto the mat and relax entirely. This is that point in class when we have Shavasana here in the studio. I'll give you a few breaths and then I'll turn the live stream on. So take a big inhale here. Exhale, sink into the floor. A couple more like that. Inhale. Exhale, let it go. One more. Exhale. Begin to be aware of your surroundings, particularly those things that are attached to your body. The mat, the carpet, those physical connections. And then you might also be aware of the sounds around you, without having to identify or assign value to those sounds. Just observe them as they come in. Big inhale. Big exhale. A couple more like that. And as your awareness shifts, see if you can move that attention to the inside. Beginning to be aware of the skin and the layers just underneath it. And aware of those sounds that are happening on the inside of the body. Sink a little deeper here, friends, in your final resting pose. I'm going to turn the live stream off now. For more about our live streams, check us out here on our YouTube channel, and then also go over to our Patreon. Become a patron to support Common Bond in this time. Your support is huge to us, whether you're simply passing this out to your friends or sharing it monetarily. Thank you so much.